People. Que pasa, sa pase, what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. Call it news with a buzz. This one is called Never Burn Your Bridges Behind You. Why 10% or 50% of a whole lot is better than 100% of very little or nothing, none at all. This is why you do not hype the same people that you pass on your way up is the same people that you pass on your way down whenever life is not so good for you. The other day, over the weekend, there was the Jamaica National Junior and Senior Championship at the National Stadium. However, I was focused on one specific athlete. Her name is Elaine Thompson-Herah. I was focused on that artist because I want to see if what I've been witnessing or seeing is consistent with what I kind of expected, meaning her performance was not up to par. Elaine Thompson-Herah is probably one of the, well, not probably, is one of the fastest human being female on earth. She has the fastest time, double Olympic champion, 100 and 200 meters. However, during that time, she was coached by one of the better coaches, top 2 coaches in the whole of Jamaica, in the history of Jamaica. I am speaking about Stephen Francis. I think is at MVP. The other coach, we are speaking about Glenn Mills, the coach of legendary sprinter Usain Bolt and also Johan Blake. Now, when they went apart their separate ways, it was a very disgraceful, very disruptive, very bad breakup. There was all sorts of words being thrown, especially from Elaine Thompson-Herah, her camp, her side. She had a whole bunch to say. She did not really explain why she was leaving. However, she said that she was leaving. She had the right to leave if they were not on any sorts of contract. Mr. Stephen Francis, he was talking, but he was talking subliminally. So therefore, they parted ways. Stephen Francis still coach people, still make people reach at the pedestal, the top of track and field, professionally, female and male, woman and man. Miss Elaine Thompson-Herah decided that she was going to go with a coach that was her husband, that is her husband. Now people, like me say, there is different class to everything, different levels. Top coach in a Jamaica, top coach in the world, Stephen Francis, Glenn Mills. Don't know any sorts of history as it pertains to Elaine's husband. Don't know his pedigree. Not to say that he could not be a newcomer and succeed. They have success. At first, when she left, she was still on a high. She was still doing good, winning races, setting all sorts of top 5, top 2, fastest time in the 100 and 200. She was supreme, reigning supreme in track and field. Some would say she was even doing better than Shelly-Ann Fraser. Except Shelly-Ann Fraser always won at the big races, especially the 100. However, it seems as if Elaine got some sorts of injuries, and even after she was coming back, it seems as if the injuries were also psychological. It seems as if they did not, meaning her team, the formula for bring her back after injuries. Now people, coaches like Glenn Mills, coaches like Stephen Francis, they always seem to bring back their athletes after some sorts of injury, because it seems as if not only they were injured, they were also mentally injured. So therefore, they had psychological help. It seems as if even after Elaine Thompson recovered from those injuries, there was still a whole bunch of psychological, emotional things. It seems as if she lost some sorts of confidence. It seems as if she started to get insecure in what she could do, or if she had fully recovered. And people, it showed in her races, especially at the national championship for juniors and seniors at the National Stadium last weekend. And the facts are this: Elaine Thompson finished 5th in the 100 meter. She was beaten by, of course, Shericka Jackson, top athlete, top sprinter, 100 and 200, probably the best at both. So therefore, we was not surprised by that. Shelly-Ann Fraser, because she was the world champion, she did not have to compete. She went, or she was in the world championship just by default, by victory, meaning that she was defending her championship, so she did not have to race. However, 4 or 3 other persons beat her, including Shericka Jackson. So people, she finished 5th. At best, she was going to be an alternate on the relay. That means that if 4 people run, if 1 or 2 people get injured, she can run, or she could run. She could also run in the heats. So alright, it's a race. Maybe you have a bad finals race. However, it did not seem as if she was injured. So forget about the 100 meter, she come 4th. So therefore, she was top 5, top 6, or 5th she came, I think. Sorry. Fast forward to the 200 meter the next day. The heats are semi. She was a no-show. So obviously, if you don't show up for the heats, it is based on time, it is based on placement. You can't make it to the semi, and definitely would not or will not make it to the finals. So therefore, her chances on the 100 meters to represent top 3, Shelly-Ann already in, Shericka in, and the next person that came second in, and the next person that came third, or no, first and second, and then Shelly-Ann would be the third automatically by default. She never make it there, so she barely made it on the relay. Top 6 of 6. If them chose to make her run, or if the Jamaica Athletic Federation decide that they want to bring her as a substitute, she can run the heats. So she not make the 100, and she definitely did not make the 200 because she did not show up. No sorts of excuse, no sorts of interview. Nobody knows exactly what went wrong or what went down. But people, in my opinion, she was shocked by the 100 meters. She was disappointed. So therefore, she did not want to show up. She pretty much got PUSSY foot. She got scared because she thought that she might have embarrassed herself. She thought that maybe she should not, or she was not ready. And people, she was not psychologically, and I don't think that it is because of injuries like me said. Now, like I said earlier in this video, there was a bitter separation between athletes and coach Stephen Francis and Elaine. There were all sorts of words being thrown upon social media. Mr. Francis was talking subliminally. So therefore, they were pretty much dissing each other. And then it seems as if Mr. Francis saw what was happening, saw that Elaine was regressing, and in some sorts of interview they asked him, is there any sorts of reuniting of an athlete and the coach being Elaine and being him? He said it would never happen. So therefore he pretty much said that he would never take her back even if she came on bending knees. And people, I doubt that Elaine would even go back just because of pride. However, is it false pride? People, you cannot cut off your nose for spite your face. You cannot be penny wise and pound foolish, and this is what I think the problem was. Now people, you know with most coaches, if you've ever been any sorts of athletes, them will talk to you in some sorts of way that might sound disrespectful. You as a athlete going to school, you can take it or you will take it. However, when you're an athlete such as an Elaine, you are not going to want to take that, because you're going to look upon yourself and say, listen, me the up here so, and this coach they down here so. Even though it was this coach that brought you or found you or created you, build you up from below that spot to wherever you are at the pedestal of the game. You don't remember about that because your ego got too big. However, I think, in my opinion, in the best interest of Jamaica, these two people come to some sorts of compromise. Or even if it is not Stephen Francis, she finds a better coach, as in Glenn Mills or somebody else. However, she must be willing to take talk, put down her ego at the door and come in and humble herself. It is going to be for the betterment of her career and she as a person. However, people, ego is a hell of a thing. It builds you and it breaks you. What is she going to do? Under her present situation and coach, I do not think that this man, which is her husband, maybe he's a good husband, maybe he's a good father. However, in my opinion, I do not think that he is a good coach with strategy and even emotional or psychological help for Elaine, which she definitely needs. Point blank and period. Further on in the news, this is an update about a story that I spoke about an incident that occurred in Mandeville, in which two men were going back and forth at it with some sorts of 5-star ratchet. At the end of the day, one man end up DEAD and the next man, he is in critical condition. Based on the information, it is said that the motive or the reason behind all of this altercation, dispute, physical turnouts is because of some woman. Did not know the specific, if it was Joe Grind and the husband, a fight for the wife. Don't know if it was boyfriend and girlfriend, she was cheating and him here says she have a next man. Don't know if it was two alpha bull on the Serengeti during mating season and their hormones were raging. Them want to be the alpha bull and they were fighting for this gorgeous female. Talking about the power of the pumps. Like me say, me no know the specifics. However, based on information that I am now getting, it is said that place in which the altercation took place is a place that is known for prostitution. That means it is a place in which females make their or trade their goods, meaning put them ASS over the counter, back road, haberdashery, them a sell the PUMS. So in other words, this was no sort of decent woman that they were fighting for. This was because of some sorts of HOWHORE. Now people, me have to ask myself, what would that conversation be like? And people, I just happen to be passing by and listen to the conversation and it sounded something like this. Fighter A and Fighter B. Fighter A said, yo, me no care what you want to do today, no, but today the girl is mine, like Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. Fighter B say, you think I saw it all go? Tonight for my night or today my day, because obviously it was in the day. Did not even know that PUMS sell in the day. But I guess whenever you're on it, you're just on it. You want it when you want it. So therefore, these two men pulled up. Wrong timing for one of them. Yes, it was because one of them lost their life. Well, wrong timing for both because the next one is also in a critical. So therefore, I do not think there was any sort of winner. Just a loser and a was a loser. So B and A, I go back and forth at it. And then the little skettle I watch and I say, then look how them two little idiot here fight over my good. As some my good. Me need for jack up the price and sell it for $1,000 instead of $500. People like me say, I am just assuming or based on what I heard in the bushes from a distance. So therefore I could have misread the lips or misinterpret what they were saying. So people, at the end of the day, it only shows you. We hear people on social media, man and wife, matey, Joe grind, always in all sorts of dispute. People lose them life, people end up in prison. And then that person, whether the woman or the man, them go on with them life, get a new lover. So therefore, both persons or both parties lose. So the moral of the story is this. No good man or good woman fight over any sorts of man or any sorts of woman. If that person really respected you, he or she would not put you in a position to be in any sorts of conflict over any sorts of COCKY or pumps. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.